Hi, I'm Ryan Thurl, City Forester for Watertown, and thanks for signing up for the Right Tree, Right Spot. The purpose of this program, it allows us to influence and increase private tree canopy. So if you had lost a tree from emerald ash borer and you're looking for a new tree to plant, or if you bought a new house and would like a tree, or just would like a tree in general to put in your yard, this would be a perfect program to sign up for. The only catch though is you have to be a city resident and it has to be planted on your property. And what I mean by that is you cannot plant these trees in the boulevard, so somewhere within your own property. If you do decide to plant or would like a tree in the boulevard, we also have a tree planting program. Going back to the Right Tree, Right Spot, I'm going to give a brief description here of our trees. We have 100 that we're giving away. 50 of them were bought from Johnson Nursery and 50 were purchased from McKay Nursery. I'll start with our ornamental trees. This first one is the Forest Rouge Viburnum. This is a small stature tree that gets about 15-20 feet tall at the high end and about 10 feet wide or so. Flowers white, does get berries, and then turns like a maroon color in the fall. Our next tree is a Redbud. This one flowers in spring, probably pretty soon here. It gets that nice lavender pinkish color to it. Not a very big tree again. These are about 15-20 feet tall in that 10-foot range width. They also turn yellow in the fall as well. I think we need Chuck modeling the trees. What do you think about that? Like holding them up and...
I don't hate that idea.
Our next tree is a Clumped Serviceberry. This will flower white. As you can see, the buds are getting probably about 2 weeks out yet before they start popping. But like I said, they flower white. These turn like a really cool orangish red fall color. They do get berries, they are edible, and the birds love them. Really cool tree. Again, this one in around that 20-25 foot height range and about 10-12 feet wide. Our next tree is the 7 Sunflower, the Temple of Bloom. This is a late season bloomer, so late summer. It will flower white, pinkish color to it. It's a pretty cool tree. It also gets a nice reddish fall color. This tree does not get very big, so again in that 15-foot range or so, about 10 feet wide. So a new one that we added this year, Temple of Bloom 7 Sunflower. Our next tree is a Pagoda Dogwood. Again, this tree doesn't get really large, in that 20-foot range or so, about 10-15 feet wide. This flowers white in clusters in the spring. It does get berries, and this will turn like a purple reddish fall color. You can see it also has like the reddish twigs on it. And then everything that we just talked about are all the small ornamental trees, so they would make a great accent to your house. If you do plant them, don't plant them like real close to your house, so give a little bit of space. But these are all our nice small ornamental trees. All right, so our next couple of trees are going to be quite a bit larger. Our first one is the Clumped River Birch. These are either 3 or 4 stem. These will have like the salmon color peely bark to it, and these will get anywhere from like 30-60 feet tall. So you're looking at quite a bit bigger tree. Be conscious of where you plant this one because of how large it will get. All right, so our next two, we have evergreens, and our first one is a Techny Arborvitae. This would make a great windbreak or screening on your property. This tree can get pretty big, so you're looking in that 20-30 foot range and probably about 15 to 20 feet wide. It stays obviously green all year round, and it'll provide a nice screening in your property. So our last tree in evergreen here is the Norway Spruce. So these get quite large. You're looking at a 60-foot plus tree and probably 30 feet wide. They get the big cones on them. They also get like the droopy appearing branches to them. So if you do take one of these trees, make sure you have plenty of space for this to grow. If you have a big backyard, it would be a perfect place for this tree. I also want to take a minute to talk about our bare root trees that we're giving away. These I received free from Living Lands and Water. So we have bur oak, swamp white oak, northern red oak, and pecan. So There aren't any really restrictions on giving these away. It's anybody in Dodge or Jefferson County. So you don't have to be a city resident. But again, these are larger trees. So if you are a resident in Watertown, so be aware that these oak trees are going to get fairly large. So spread the word. If anybody within the city or within the county that is interested in a bare root tree, they can also sign up for these living lands and water trees. All right, so now that you have your tree that you like to plant picked out, I want to talk about a little bit about site selection. So when you go around your house, take a look at proximity to other trees, power lines, underground utilities. You should give Diggers Hotline a call before you start digging. But also, you don't want to be planting these trees along property lines. I have one here that we're going to plant. This is the Pagoda Dogwood. So when you get your tree, you're going to want to dig your hole about 2 to 3 times the width of the pot. So we got that dug out. We're going to take our tree out here. So the first thing you want to do, I kind of did it already here, I roughed up a lot of these roots. Some of these trees have been in the pots for maybe a year or more, and they begin to grow around what's called girdling roots, kind of suffocating the tree. So you want to go around the edges and kind of break up those roots, pull them out, get them in the straight orientation, growing away from the plant. After you got that done, the biggest, probably most important thing you want to do is identify the root flare. So the root flare is that transition where you go from bark tissue to root tissue, where that first root is, which I had scraped away a little bit of this topsoil and mulch and found it right about here. So that is our planting depth. That's the height that we want to have even with the ground. All right, so now we're going to plant our tree. Place the tree in the hole, and you're going to want it to be at about ground level. So that root flare is right about at the ground. You don't want it too low where the soil comes up too high, and you don't want the tree also sticking out of the ground. So you want to be right at ground level. All right, so now that we have our planting depth, we're going to start adding the soil around it. I'm going to kind of hold on to it here. Also keeping in mind, we want this tree to grow straight. So we're going to put our soil around. All right, so once you get quite a bit of soil down, this would be a good time to add water. What this does, it gets those air pockets out of there, so it allows the soil to settle down a little bit. After you add some water, then you can add some more topsoil. I'm not going to do this step because I am going to pull this tree back out. So at this point, we would add water. It will allow this soil to settle down, and then we would add a little bit more topsoil to kind of get it at this ground level. So again, here is our root flare, and we're right at ground level here again. All right, so next step now is to apply our mulch. So generally you're going to want about 2 to 4 inches of mulch. One thing to keep in mind that as you are mulching, one thing you don't want to do is what's called volcano mulching. That is building up the mulch around the trunk of the tree. What this does, it allows moisture to stay near that trunk, and it could lead to fungus and decay. So you're going to want to back off that mulch right around the trunk, and then we'll apply our 2 to 4 inches around the tree. All right, so now that you got your tree planted, you could stake it if a tree needs it. You can kind of feel if it's a little bit wobbly, you can put a stake on it. Ideally, they say just to stake one tree for 1 year. That way it can develop taper. I understand with these, as small as they are, they may need an additional year to have the tree staked. So as far as watering, roughly about 10 gallons or 1 inch per week. All right, that's it for our tree planting, right tree, right spot. Thanks for participating, and enjoy your tree.